this is another reason why many people in Texas, they don't love Mr. Johnson for what he did as our president. He has a terrible reputation around here as a politician.
Oh, really?
Oh, the stories.
Too
When
liberal?
I was getting, well, it was just the deals that he was cutting, he was ID'd as corrupt, okay? That, that's not the Texas way. But anyway.
Yeah, he was a good old boy, but then he became a Washington guy and whatever.
Yeah, and he started cutting a lot of deals that, like, where.
And he didn't run for a second time, but we needed him to run. We needed him to win. He bailed out. He let Kennedy down.
Yeah.
Not that Kennedy was necessarily his boy, but.
No, I mean, but anyway, when he retired, he wrote a book, first of all, and you got to read it if you've never read it. He wrote a book about why and how he made the decisions he did and then he stated that he had nightmares throughout those years and after he left that he had harmed irrevocably our military.
Oh yeah, well.
And therefore he made a statement on his book. I've bought a huge spread outside of Fredericksburg, Texas. Any vet that needs a place to live is welcome on my property.
Wow,
And
that's
during
good.
the year,
Yeah.
so you'd have to be,
That's good.
this is like an inside local thing. Because people love to tell you these stories.
But he never admitted he didn't feel guilty about JFK.
Oh,
he
the
didn't
only
say-
person that mentioned JFK was Jackie O to me.
Yeah.
I've never had anyone.
Oh, what Jackie O said?
Matter of fact, I had a guy that worked for, Lockheed Martin.
Oh, yeah.
He was one of their engineers during the 50s and then into the 60s. And he had met Kennedy when he came to NASA. And when he and his wife started the birth, and she says, you're probably wondering why I wanted to meet you. But I could tell you outside over a joint, I don't want to.
Well, he can now listen.
Okay.
You can talk to
So
me.
she
You
says-
can pretend
I've heard the story.
Yeah.
pretend he's not there.
He's heard it before.
All right.
Okay, so she says to me, Kerry, she says, you and I are very alike.
Right.
And I sat back and I was like, I'm afraid I don't get it.
Yeah.
You and I are not alike. She says, oh, you'd be surprised. She said, you've fallen among wolves, Kerry. And I just sat there. And I knew I'd been having a very hard time with the family, except all the old folks loved me. The middle ones, my mother-in-law,
Well, you're
my
ahead of your
father-in-law.
time.
But anyway, so she says, situation. I was like, there's all these people running around trying to find out who killed John Kennedy. And here she is telling me why. So then she says, and I realized she didn't feel in danger anymore, you see. Because then she goes on to say, she says, many people thought I married Mr. Onassis so I could have a lot of money for clothes. Kerry, I have my own money. I needed someone that had a private army.
Wow.
My children's lives and mine we were very vulnerable for many
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
She said, now the other thing she said before we shifted back to me, she says, can you imagine how difficult it was for me to stand there on Airport 1,
Yeah.
bloodied from my husband's blood,
Yeah.
while Mr. Johnson was sworn in?
Yeah.
Now, it was implicit in her statement, I thought, that there was some skullduggery. Because then she goes on to say, and then I was invited back to the White House with them. So I could, and she didn't go like this, but I'm
Right.
going, recover.
Right.
She goes, she looks at
Right.
going on. And I was a witness. I saw the whole thing. She says, with Lady Bird, who was showing all kinds of sympathy, wanted to chat. So she
Right.
says, she's like, so I want you to be aware that people are not what they seem, and you've moved yourself into a class and a group of people that don't operate like the people you may have known in your life.
One of my favorite theories is that on that day they said JFK was going to talk about UFOs and aliens.
Yes, he was. That was his next stop.
Yeah, that's
And
one of the
he had
best.
especially had
That's one of the
the
best.
flag flown in from the White House
Yeah.
that was flying when the UFOs went over
Wow, yeah.
in 52 when I
Famous
was
photos, 52.
You
You
see?
seen those photos?
Yeah, it's so.
Bunch of big UFOs over the Capitol. 52.
So now,
In DC,
And it was on the front page of the papers. It was not,
Wow. Wow.
I'm going to sing another original. This is called Down in Florida. All right.
Nice, nice.
Did you